Fellas, Mark, I don't know if it still can fall into the silver linings category, but how different was this for you finally getting a chance to finish a playoff series that you started for the first time since, I think, 2019 against St. Louis?
Yeah. Honestly, definitely nice to be healthy. And playing obviously, the suspension the 1 year and getting hurt last year. It never sucks to not be able to finish the year. I don't think there's many silver linings out of not still playing right now. It sucks to, and still processing it, but obviously it's nice to be healthy.
Nate, do you feel like when you finally got a chance to play in this series that you might have played some of your best hockey of the season, or where would you rate it, your performances on that?
Yeah, I just think the experience kind of takes over at that point of the year for me. I have a lot of experience in playoff games and kind of understand what the increased ramifications are, and it's been something that I've always kind of relished in my career and enjoyed. I've gone through scratches like that earlier in my career, so when you do get in, it's a sense of excitement and you just gotta be able to handle the emotional high that you get of jumping into a series and hoping and trying to be a part of a solution. There's a reason you're going in, and you just gotta trust your game. And a lot of things about the last couple games for me. I saw flashes of really good things for me. So I wish you could do more. Like Mark said, it didn't really hit yet, but I wish we are still playing, and it's a hard thing to be sitting here right now.
On that point, Nate, game four must have just been a roller coaster for you, right? You get the big goal, and then you see Vladdy go down, and obviously Brendan had gone down the game before. Just almost the game almost becomes secondary when you see good friends and teammates get hurt like that, right?
And I know the puck gets tipped. I know that there are things outside of my control, but to see a guy, I, it was really hard. It's we play a game, we know the risks, and we jump on the ice. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you see a friend and a teammate and a guy that will go there to that spot any day of the week, and trust that we're gonna get through and not have that happen. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough seeing him even now. I'm just very thankful that everything so far has been good. Good is a relative term, I should say. Better than what it could have been. So I'm thankful for that. But yeah, it was something, and it has been for a few days here.
Mark, you've been here from the beginning. Connor, close to as well. He said he hopes this is the last in a series of lessons, learning curves for this group. What's it going to take, I guess, to channel, no doubt, painful lessons from these playoff exits and turn it into the way Colorado did in 2022 after some painful, great regular seasons that they weren't able to follow up?
I think Colorado's a great team to learn from. You see what McKinnon's done. You see what McCarr's done. You see what guys that have gotten traded there or been signed there or drafted there. What they've done in their careers, and those guys have taken great pride in their bodies, in their games, and in going home every summer and improving, and during the year improving and getting better, and they push that team to the levels that they're at. We saw firsthand the abilities that team that those guys first and foremost have, and obviously they're skilled players, but I know them personally, and they go home every summer and they give it their all. They don't leave one stone unturned on improving their games and taking care of their bodies and eating the right things and doing all that, and they put a big emphasis on their team to be at their best every night, and I think that's a great lesson to learn. Those guys are a great lesson to learn from. They've won. They've experienced that. We saw how great they played against us, and I think that is something that I think we all have to look ourselves in the mirror and see, what am I doing to improve? What am I doing to get better at the game? What am I doing to try to get 10% better this summer? And that's how we're gonna, that's how any team is gonna win in this league, is when it comes from within, and guys get better during the summer and coming in good shape and are ready to go, and have increased their abilities. And I think I really look at look at those guys and look at that team with a ton of respect. And I know it's not easy to do. It's not a it's it's a full-time job to do that. And I pride myself on doing that as well. And I think that's how this team is going to win, is take a lesson from their book.
How would you describe the strides your group took over the last 2 seasons when it comes to defending? I know it didn't translate into the playoffs, but how big is that as a foundational piece as you try to make sure that a missed opportunity turns into, something further down the road?
I think it has to be your cornerstone to your group. It has to be something that you start with. And you can start with great offense. Yeah, sure. We could talk about, Colorado, how good they are, offensively, but it all starts from their end and how quick they can transition, get pucks out of their end. And that's a number one look at a team that, that's moving on. And I think that over the last 2 years, I do truly think that our team has gotten to a point where there's belief in what our system is. There's belief in what the guys were doing in the D zone. That way we didn't have to cheat it, because we were going to get our offense if we just stuck to our game plan. And I think that I like the maturity of it, of seeing that it works and then doing it. Playoffs, you just got to step into another level.
Mark, there's been a lot of conversations about the difference between needing to adjust to what Colorado was doing, as well as individual execution and just finding a way to match their compete and their intensity. If there's a step one, like in the difference between where you guys got to, great season, a lot of progress, and that mountain that you really still need to climb, what is that step one?
Yeah, it's tough to answer right now. It's still very fresh, and it sucks to just not be playing. That's the hardest thing. But I think, step one is, every guy have a plan for their summer. What they need to work on, what they need to improve on, what they what they did well, what they didn't do well. And this game is all about improving. It's all about getting better each and every day. And I think that's probably step one.
Nate, one of the things that felt like Colorado was really good at was, I want to say, like being inevitable. There was like a consistency to their game. When you guys got something going, they were always finding answers for that. You've been on some very deep runs in your career. What is the difference between doing it most of the time and doing it all of the time?
I mean, it really comes down to, in my opinion, confidence in yourself and in your team game. If you're confident in what you can do, you're confident in what your teammates can do, then you don't have to worry about what the next line is going to do. If you have to do too much the following shift to try and make up for what had happened, I think that's one thing they do really well. If we had a great shift, it wasn't usually followed up by 2, 3, 4. It was usually 1, 2, and then slow it down when we get in our end. It's just that belief and that confidence in your other lines, your other D pairs, to go out there and kind of slow the momentum down and grab it back. That's what the playoffs are all about. Not extending times where you're down and trying to limit theirs when they're up, right? And I think that's a big part of playing at this time of year. That's it's not the same as regular season. You can come and roll over somebody on any given night because you only play them once, but as the series goes on, it gets harder and harder, and they did it for longer than we did.
Mark, I'm sure when you guys do break down what happened in this series, the X's and O's will be different than what it was last year. I'm wondering, outside of everyone going home, feeling the sting and getting better from this, if for you there's an overarching theme that you see of what this organization needs to do to get to be more of a capable playoff team.
Yeah, I think that's too tough to answer, especially right now. Teams change every year, and I don't know if there's a theme or anything, but like I said before, I think you you look at Colorado. You look at what they've done. Winning. You see what they're doing this year. That's what this game is all about. It's all about improving. You need guys to get better, and there's going to be new players, and there's going to be the same players. There's going to be changes in every organization, but it's what every guy does individually to come back and be better for this group. I think that's what it always comes down to is improving. You have to go home and look yourself in the mirror and what do you do well, what don't you do well, and that's the I think that's the way that we're going to get out of this is from within.